Near mint condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves. What's going on, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today as I go over my top 10 must-reads, essential buys, or books to check out in April of 2024. So let's go ahead and get started. And welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be going over my top 10 suggested reads or must-buys, books to at least check out from all of these collected editions coming out in April of 2024. And it is always difficult for me just to limit myself to 10, especially when I threw in an extra week with May, but here we are. And so I got to keep with my word. Every once in a while, I try to sneak in 11, 12, 13. There was one book delay that I'm sure most of you noticed, and that is the Wolverine Omnibus Volume 5. That book has been pushed until I want to say the month of May is when I last saw it, the week of May 14th. So that will be coming up. That was a book that I think a lot of people were wondering where it is, but there it is. It's in May 14th. As of this video, they could also push it back. And before I go any further, don't forget to smash that like button, please. That goes a long way for us here on the channel. And if you wanted the written documentation of all the books I went over on Friday, that can be found on our Patreon. And the link to our Patreon is in the description of the video. I'm not sure why I'm doing this. It's down there. It's below us. It's below there. Down there somewhere. And a big thank you to our patrons for making videos like this possible. Alright, let's go ahead and start with the week of April 3rd. Of course I'm recommending Spider-Man 2099 Omnibus Volume 2. Look, if it's a Peter David book, more than likely I'm going to be recommending it. I love Peter David and wishing him the best of health. I know that he is recovering and it is a difficult road for him, so it makes me happy to see that these books are coming out. For him to be able to see his work finally in this big library formatted like omnibus. I mean, we've got the Hulks, we've got Captain Marvel, we've got Spider-Man 2099 1 and 2. We also have Young Justice, and Aquaman coming out. So it makes me happy that many people are now discovering the beauty of Peter David's writing for the first time. X Factor, forgot about that too. So I hope he knows how much he is loved. But in here is the 2099 series from 2014, 1 through 12, and then 2015 the following year, 1 through 25. The Captain Marvel, 27 through 30, Superior Spider-Man, 17 through 19, Secret Wars, 2099, 1 through 5, and then material from Spider-Man, or 2099 Unlimited, 1 through 3, 8 through 10, Amazing Spider-Man 1, the 2014 series, and then the 2015 series, issue number 1. I've done an overview of this, and if you want to go and check it out, just click on the link above, but absolutely recommending it if you haven't had a chance to read it. It is phenomenal. Next up on the list is Witchfinder Omnibus Volume 1. I am a huge fan of the Hellboy universe, the Mike Mignola universe, but this has Mike Mignola, John Arcudi, Mara McHugh, Kim Newman, Ben Stenbeck, Tyler Crook, Dave Stewart, John Severin, just to name a few of these amazing creators on this book. This has been previously released as a hardcover collection, but this collects the Sir Edward Grey Witchfinder volumes 1 through 3, and it has all of the sketchbooks all in the back, and now it is coming out in a trade paperback format, 440 pages, $29.99. And in case you missed out on the hardcover, or you're just picking up the BPRD, the Abe Sapien, the Hellboy stuff in trade paperbacks, or these thick omnis, because keep in mind, these omnis are just big, thick trades. So that is something to always keep in mind when talking about Dark Horse. That's why I do overviews on the channel. That's why I think overviews are important, because sometimes a company will release a book and call it an omnibus, but it's a soft cover. And then sometimes the compendium can be a softcover or hardcover, so it gets a little confusing, and I understand. As long as I've been getting collected editions, I still get confused from time to time. Next up, the next week, or I guess the following week, is Black Widow, Modern Era Epic Collection, Chaos. I am very excited about this one. This collects the 2014 series 1 through 20, plus the crossover with the Punisher #9, and the material from All New Marvel Now .1. So you have Nathan Edmondson, Phil Noto, Mitch Gerards working on this particular book. As a matter of fact, that is a Phil Noto cover. And this is the one where she's trying to make atonement. This is the one where she's going through a redemption arc for everything that she's dealt with. This is the stories where she is going through a redemption arc for being a part of the KGB and all the stuff that she had to do when she was an assassin. So it's a really cool story and a good kickoff to the modern era of Black Widow. And one that I'm excited for people to read for the first time. Hopefully we'll get an omnibus one day, but, you know, some people don't care about omnis. I know, it's crazy. So I'm really happy, regardless, that people are now being able to get that book and read it, because those trades have been out for a long time. And the same week as Black Widow is The Flash by Joshua Williamson, Omnibus Volume 1. Now, this stuff has been collected in oversized hardcovers before. As a matter of fact, the first 3 oversized hardcovers make up what this omnibus is. But what we're hoping for is that, much like the Mark Waid Omnibus of Flash Volume 2, we'll get a Volume 2 of this stuff. And in here, you're going to find the work of course, Joshua Williamson writing the stories, Howard Porter, and also D. Gian Domenico, who does amazing artwork. So collected in here is The Flash Rebirth #1, The Flash 1 through 35, Batman 21 through 22. So that is something that is not in the deluxe hardcovers, is the button crossover fully. Hal Jordan, The Green Lantern Corps 32, Justice League 32 through 33, and then a story from the DC Holiday Special 2017, #1. It also features a new introduction from Joshua Williamson, and then a bunch of pages of deleted scenes and behind-the-scenes stuff. And the book has 1,008 pages, $125. And I stated this already, that it seems like it doesn't have a variant cover, but they don't all have to. But for the most part, I think DC has done variant covers for these type of books. I'm surprised, honestly, that they didn't for this one. The week of April 16th, of course, Micronauts, the original Marvel Years Omnibus Volume 1. Even if I had to pick just one book from this month, it would probably be this. This is Michael Golden with Bill Mantlo. Then, of course, you've got Howard Chaykin on the book, and Pat Broderick. And there's actually a Steve Ditko. There's 4 covers. I don't know why I was holding up like 9 fingers, but 4 covers for this omnibus. To a lot of us, this is like, no way in hell Marvel was ever going to do this. And there's always this constant fear of like, whether it will be reprinted or whether once it goes out of print, how long will it be? Because who knows? I mean, we've learned from Conan that when licensed properties come to Marvel, and we've learned from IDW with licensed properties like Transformers, once they lose that license, that's it. You have no idea when the next time they can reprint it until the next publisher. But this is a Marvel book. It's an interesting story that I'll talk about, I'm sure, when I talk about the Micronauts, because, you know, part of it has got to do with the toy license, and then of course part of it has to do with all of the characters that Marvel created, all of the worlds, all of the villains, and they can still use some of the characters like Bug. It's really, really interesting, just comic book history behind the Micronauts. This collects the first 29 issues, the first 2 annuals, and then the special edition 1 through 5. And that material is probably just the covers and a couple of the extras and pinups. $125, 744 pages. That same week as Micronauts, we are also getting Justice League Dark Rebirth. I'm a huge fan of the Justice League Dark series. It's where you find characters like Zatanna, and you find characters like John Constantine, I know, depending on where you're from. And even though it's not my John Constantine that I grew up with Hellblazer, it was still a pretty close take on the character. But this is the rebirth era of the Justice League Dark series, and it has, I mean, we do have new characters, and it includes Wonder Woman. So this collects Justice League Dark 1 through 29, Justice League Dark Annual #1, Justice League Dark 2021 Annual, Justice League Dark, Wonder Woman, The Witching Hour, Aquaman 66, Black Adam, Endless Winter special number 1, Flash 767, 777 to 779, Justice League 58, 72 to 74, Justice League Endless Winter 1 and 2, Superman Endless Winter special number 1, the Teen Titans Endless Winter special number 1, Wonder Woman 56 through 57, Wonder Woman Justice League Dark the Witching Hour and stories from Justice League 59 through 71, Future State Justice League 1 and 2, and Secrets of the Sinister House number 1. That is a lot of content. This book has 1,456 pages, $150. So in here, you're going to find the work of James Tynion and Ram V. And you're also going to find the work of Alvaro Martinez Bueno and Sumit Kumar and Sermanico. And oh my gosh, that cover alone is freaking beautiful. Swamp Thing and Wonder Woman, Zatanna. What is this series about? Well, it's the dark side of the Justice League. It's the folks we don't talk about often. But yeah, I'm all in for it. So be expecting an overview sometime. Next up on the list is Star Wars by Gillen and Pack Omnibus. One of my most wanted Omnis, one of your most wanted Omnis, and finally coming out this month. As a matter of fact, I have a, where is it? It's a copy of it somewhere. Hold on a second. It's here. It's real. Okay. So why am I excited about this book? It's because we, for a long time, had Star Wars by Jason Aaron Omnibus. And then no follow-up. And then they reprinted Star Wars by Jason Aaron. And still no mention of a follow-up. And finally, we got a volume 2. So technically, this is the volume 2. It's till all of it taking place in between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. But this time around, written by Kieran Gillen. It is written by Greg Pak. Artwork in here by Salvador La Roca, Pepe Larraz doing some of the stuff in here, Phil Noto. Now, I will say that the contents of this book are Star Wars 38 through 75 and Star Wars Annual number 4, as well as Star Wars Empire Ascended. 1,008 pages, $125. But so many of you emailed me, so many of you watched that one video where I recap all the Omnis coming out, and you suggested to please, Omar, please have them at Storms of Crate number 1. And at first they said no, and then you all reached back asking if there's any way to add it, and they finally did. In the back and in the book, it's Star Wars The Last Jedi, Storms of Crate number 1 is collected in here. So thank you all that suggested adding that to here. I don't think that's been collected in trade paperback before, but it has been added to this omnibus. So, of course, I'm suggesting it. I was already suggesting it anyway. So, The Empire Ascended. Oh, yes. All right. Zatanna by Paul Dini, the new printing. And, oh my gosh, that cover's absolutely stunning. So, it's not just Paul Dini, but you have Adam Beechan, Stefan Rao, and Jamal Eigel, Chad Harden, Cliff Chang, just to name a few of the creators that have worked on this book. This collects Zatanna 1 through 16 and Zatanna Everyday Magic and the DC Infinite Halloween Special number 1. And for the people wondering, what is the big deal about this book? It's 440 pages, $49.99. It's been out of print for so long that a lot of people have missed out on it. And it's one of those books that they're going to reprint and probably will go out of print eventually. So I don't want anybody to miss out on it. People that have looked for it. I knew one of my viewers was like 2 years ago was asking, should I cave on this? It's a trade paperback and they're asking it. What was it? It was like $159. And I was like, no, because I promise you, if you can wait, I think I said 5 years, it will come back to print. Don't spend $149. Go buy something else. So I hope they listened. I don't know if you're watching, but here it is. You probably bought it because, you know, I get it. If you got the money, sure, go for it. Who the hell am I to judge? All right, next up on my list is Absolute Justice League, the World's Greatest Superheroes by Alex Ross and Paul Dini. Now, the one thing to note about this book is that it's an absolute format, but it's also a magazine size format. So it's a lot longer than your other absolute editions. If you're a stickler for having things on your shelf fit the same way, it'll be as tall, but it's longer, just letting you know. So this collects Superman Peace on Earth, freaking awesome story. Batman War on Crime, Shazam Power of Hope, which is my favorite story in here. I think I like that one and the Wonder Woman story. The Wonder Woman Spirit of Truth, JLA Secret Origins, and JLA Liberty and Justice. If you haven't had a chance to read this, there is a deluxe edition that's coming out, so it's cheaper. There is a trade paperback that's coming out. It's reprinting it. It's Paul Dini, the guy, Batman, the animated series, and also, of course, Batman, the comic book. But if you haven't had a chance to read it, oh my gosh, you are in for a treat. And to me, Alex Ross is one of those artists that deserves this absolute format, the biggest format possible. So, of course, I'm recommending this one. It is $100, 396 pages. And that is coming out the last week of the month, April 30th. Or, I guess, May 1st, depending on where you get your books. And speaking of the last week and the last book I'm recommending completely goes out of my radar because I haven't read it, but it's based on what my wife and so many of you viewers have told me, and that is Disney's Villains Maleficent hardcover. This is by Sue Lee, who is not only just writing the story, but also drawing the story. Jay Lee, of course, doing that beautiful cover right there. And it is collecting the I think it was it is a 5-issue miniseries, and both the trade paperback and the hardcover will have the same cover, and the hardcover is $19.99, while the trade paperback is $13.99. And it is the story of Maleficent. Now, we've seen the movies, and of course, of the original story of Sleeping Beauty, but from what everybody has told me, this is the best take on Maleficent, and it is in comic book format, because it shows you a side of Maleficent that isn't this unloving monster, and what she's trying to do to restore her kingdom and all her responsibilities. So I'm really curious about this book. I've been wanting to check it out, and as soon as I found out that it's coming out in a collected edition, I'm there. Now, if you're interested in any of the books that I'm suggesting, check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was my top 10 list for the month of April of 2024. Let me know in the comments down below what books interest you, what you want to pick up, what your top 10 would look like, or your top 5, or your one book you're like, this is the one. What am I crazy for suggesting? If you have any questions, leave them down below. Thank you again for watching. Smash that like button on the way out. A big thank you to our patrons for making videos like this possible. Check out our spread shop. We have stickers. All of that helps with the channel. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.